People, if you can hear me, say hello right down there in that comment section about the chat. Woo! If you're here, thank you. If you're here, I'm typing in the comment section, people. Hello. TGIF. Thank Ganja, it's Friday. Got the beats. This is the music made by G Box Cutter Productions. Yours truly. We have with us Laura Malcolm, the great, the one and only. Today, we do have a celebration. That's why I'm talking over the music. I'm giving my best DJ voice, people. Trump has been convicted.
Guilty.
Woo! Guilty. Guilty. Now, we're going to be very, very, very concise today. We're going to talk about exactly what is he guilty of. We're going to talk about the 34 charges. We're not going to go over all 34 of them because they're all the same. But what is it about? We're going to talk about what happens next. Okay, people? What happens next? Is he going to jail? What does it mean for the campaign? We're going to talk about the Republican reaction, retribution and revenge and so on. We're going to talk about the media. We're going to talk about what happened this week, whatever we can get to. But it's important that you know, yes, he was convicted. No, you're not being trolled. If you've been under a rock, that's what we're talking about today. We had to throw out everything else to get here. Now, with that being said, I want to recognize and introduce my illustrious, intelligent, beautiful co-host, Laura Malcolm. Laura, how was that for an introduction?
Keep throwing them at me.
Yes, intelligent, illuminated.
You just had a busiest day and just got in the door. Oops, my cat's knocking my toys over. So yeah, it's a packed week, and we got to get at it.
All right, so people were late, I know, and I'm sorry, simply because I just got in. I had to work, I had to teach, way far away, came back, just put this together. We had to throw everything out that we had before. So if you're here, I truly appreciate it. We're so thankful that you're here. I know on the West Coast it's early, on the East Coast it's 11:30, and I said 10:30 in my last message. Laura, what's going on? What's happening?
Well, I was pretty confident that he was going to get the majority of his charges found guilty on, but even I thought they would sort of maybe toss him a couple. And I thought that the verdict, I was calling Thursday, but even I was shocked that it was that fast and it was all 34.
Yeah, that was...
As was the rest of the watching population.
I think the reason for that is we've all lost confidence in this judicial system. We have all lost confidence in the judicial system. I mean, Judge Eileen Cannon is causing a ruckus down there. This guy has become synonymous with evading charges. No matter what is going... What do you say?
They used to call him Teflon Don.
Right.
Now he's dropped... The T is fallen off, and now he's just Felon Don.
I like that. The TE is gone. He's Felon Don, okay? I like that. Felon Don. And somebody said...
he can't get up.
And DC Liz says, first thing, Civil War, question mark. Guess why? Because she saw that thumbnail like all of you saw the thumbnail. We're getting there. We're going to build up to it. But yes, The thing is, civil wars won't look like it did before. We're not talking about battlefields with muskets anymore. We are talking about warfare dealing with, I'll get to it. There's too much to explain, but you have to understand why. The way we are is internet and our groups, right? Our spacing, our landmass, where we are. Things won't be like when someone says civil war. It's not what you're thinking, guys. That's not it. It may have already kind of started if you're looking at the upside down flag being flown, if you're looking at the tree flag being flown by judges' wives. So I promise you we will get there, DC Liz. I promise you we'll get there. But right now I want to make sure people know who don't know what's the charges. He got all 34. And like I said, like I was talking about, people have lost faith in the judicial system, especially as it comes to this slippery Teflon Don, who is now Felon Don. 34 counts. And shall we watch a video, or do you have give as much information as you want? Or you go with a video?
Why don't you throw that up there that goes through the list of them one by one? It's very succinct.
All right, let's see what we got here. Whew, people. So, I believe it's this one. Oh, no, that's also good. Maybe it's the first one.
Wall Street Journal, was it?
Oh, no, this is Can Trump Go to Canada? That's also important. That goes to show you that's actually what is going on. I got you, people. So we're going to go through exactly what is the charges. It's going to go through all of them. It's just a couple minutes. It's important that we all know what we're talking about. When people are asking us questions, when people are saying, why?
Donald Trump was found guilty of felony charges for his role in covering up a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels.
Mother Teresa could not beat these charges. These charges are rigged. The whole thing is rigged.
WSJ's courts reporter Corinne Ramey watched it all unfold inside the courtroom. She walks us through key moments from the trial and explains what the verdict means for Trump. At the center of the charges against Trump were dozens of documents, including 11 checks, 11 invoices, and 12 entries in Trump's general ledger. This was ultimately not a trial about an affair. It was a trial about business documents and a cover-up, right?
Absolutely. Trump was charged with 34 counts of falsifying business records. Falsifying business records in New York is a misdemeanor, but here it's a felony because prosecutors had to show that Trump was seeking to commit or conceal a second crime.
Prosecutors are...
That may be the number one question I got real quick as an aside from people who aren't in America, mainly people from Canada who were talking last night to me. Why is it a crime to have sex? I don't understand. Blah, blah, blah. This is it. It's not that sex that's a crime. So I'm glad that if you don't know that and you're watching this, keep watching. It gets more in detail.
Argued that the reason Trump falsified business records was to cover up a conspiracy to illegally promote his election to the presidency. A conspiracy, they said, that involved Trump, his fixer Michael Cohen, and the publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, who worked together to catch and kill stories damaging to Trump's campaign, like the story about an alleged affair with porn star Stormy Daniels, who Cohen paid $130,000 to silence in the final days of the 2016 campaign. Trump has denied the affair. The prosecution kicked things off by calling Pecker to the...
Okay, I think that's pretty well succinct on what he was charged with, why he's charged, and why it becomes a felony, right? Because once you add in a few things, I think the idea of conspiracy, there were three different things that could be, three different things that the jury could choose from to add to The first one, which is falsifying records, one of them was conspiracy, which happens. But I think, so basically, if any of these two put together becomes a felony in New York, and that's what he was charged with. If you have any questions, we can surely go over that, and we have videos for that. And I think that was so necessary because of that question I keep getting, Laura. I mean, do you get that as well?
Yeah, well, it's been the problem from the start, them labeling it. It's always the problem with labels, and they call it the hush money trial.
Agreed.
The porn star trial, it's not. It's business fraud and tax fraud and campaign finance fraud.
Agreed.
But that doesn't have the sexy sound, right? They got to have the sexy sound, so they say the sex sells. So in this case, they paid to cover up the sex, and it sold anyway.
But the problem is, what they did was, as in paying to cover up the sex, it sold as they wanted it. It should have been sold as a cover up, as campaign finance fraud, as deception to the American people. And somehow it's still, thanks to our inept media, it's still seen as the hush money case. So thank goodness for whoever this is here, for the Washington Journal, doing it finally at the end, right? Doing it at the end of the trial when kind of doesn't matter anymore. But they did that. Okay, so I have another video here. Real quick, let's see what it's about. And I want you guys to know that everything we're doing is talking about just the facts and what the facts mean.
Poll after poll shows the same thing.
Of course, we
this
got
race
our
is
guy here looking
incredibly
for
close.
donations.
Donald
We'll
Trump and I are
past that.
tied.
About the process.
Oh, good.
This is he's got to go back, and he's disrespected that judge a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's the guy who's going to sentence him.
Right.
So, well, this is why they don't want DEI, because they really would like this diversity to exist, because it changes things. It makes law a little bit more fair and a little more broad. But I want to talk about this because a lot of black and brown people have gone through the system and have been convicted of a crime, and then they walk through a process that Trump will now get to walk through as well. Talk about the process. He's now been convicted. He has a sentencing date of July 11. What happens between now and then, Catherine?
He has to speak to a probation officer because the way they do it in New York State.
Watch them be black, too. Watch it be a black woman.
I have to say,
her name gonna be Marquita.
Many of them in Manhattan are people of color. And he has to be interviewed because that's part of the investigation that the probation department does for a pre-sentence report, which will be given to the court, the defense, and the prosecutor. It's confidential, so it will not be unless it's
We'll
leaked.
never know who they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
It will, and that will form some of the basis of how the judge will sentence him. In New York, the judges have a lot of discretion to use whatever factors they think are relevant to sentencing.
Yeah, one of those factors is being black and a male. Another one of those factors is, are you friends with powerful people or a powerful person yourself? All of these factors aren't being discussed when we're talking about this, which I think is a travesty. I think we should all be talking about this. What's funny to me, why I laughed, is even hearing something like Trump on probation is hilarious to me. In our community, we call that being on them papers. It's so normal for us because the way the state makes money is by stopping you in traffic, finding something ridiculous to charge you on, knowing you can't afford it, and then putting you on them papers. Because that's how we fund our government. So Trump now having to go through a process that we all go through is absolute bull. And I'm not saying that Joy Reid said that indifferently. I'm just saying, when you hear that, take it from me, that's bull. But he will be on them papers, and he won't have to ruin his life to ensure he doesn't go to jail by missing a payment or two because he couldn't make the ridiculous payment for the ridiculous crime. On the other hand, he has 34 felonies, and we would all already be in jail while waiting for
he already broke the gag order.
Right. And not only that, he should have been in jail from there. But
Right.
I dare you, anybody in this comment section, I dare you to go commit 34 felonies. 34 felonies, and then not be in jail while you're figuring out your sentencing. Not be held in jail until they figure out your sentencing. I dare you. I would love to see it. But anyway, that's the two-tier justice system. Now you know that. He's going to go, he is a felon, even when he tries to appeal it, and everything that you just heard is correct. He's going to go see a probation officer. The judge gets to weigh, will he or won't he? Was there more of that video you wanted to see, Laura?
Well, I liked a couple of the Rev's quotes in there. He said,
mitigating and aggravating.
Don't gloat, vote.
Yes. Was it after this? You want me to keep playing? We can keep playing.
Yeah.
I think there are really only two mitigating factors.
Yeah, it must be after this.
Donald Trump's
no,
favor.
Maybe it's before. But he also was talking about how he went from the Central Park 5 to the appellate 5. If he's going to try to appeal, let me just scrub through it and see how far in that is. Yeah, here around 3 minutes in.
All right, let's do this.
That I have to ask the person who knows Trump the best out of all of us. I don't know him personally at all,
Trump?
but you know him. How do you think he's feeling
going
today?
somewhere.
I think that he is very, very much in shock. And I think that he is very depressed. You must know Donald Trump always had this complex that his father thought he couldn't rise to being a successful business person. He is now tonight a convicted felon, someone that is on the brink of financial disaster after Tish James was able to secure a civil case against him, and one who always played the race line. We just had a tape come out because a guy ran the course of his NDA where he couldn't talk about things, that came out and verified said he used the N-word during The Apprentice. In fact, I have Kwame Jackson, who he talked about on the show tomorrow night with the Central Park 5.
Oh, I bet does it hit different that it's a black DA and it's a black woman that got him with Tish James? Because maybe he's using it a bit more, isn't it?
Black DA in Manhattan with Alvin Bragg. Black Tish James got him. Black prosecutor in Atlanta. Black woman judge in Washington. And if he appeals, he has 5 black women on the appellate court here in New York. So he's going from the Central Park 5 to the appellate court 5. So, I mean, this is going to be the story of his life.
Yeah, to say nothing of Juan Marchand, who is, he's got to go back, and he's disrespected that judge a lot.
Absolutely.
And that's the guy who's going to sentence him. So, well, this is why they don't want DEI, because they really would like this diversity to exist, because it changes things. It makes law a little bit more fair and a little more broad. But I want to talk about this because a lot of black and...
Okay. Outstanding people. I think Laura's best at keeping up with the comment section, so hopefully she's touching in with you guys. I'm watching, but I'm also the one doing all of the videos. So, if there's anything interesting out there, Laura, let me know. Let's talk to the people as well. But what you just heard there is all true. So now you know what happened, and you understand that it's not... Here's the thing. There are consequences, even though it seems like there are none. Even though it seems like he's not in jail, why does he get to wait for 2 weeks before he gets a sentencing and all this type of stuff? There are consequences to just being a felon. Here is one of them. Check this out, people. And this should just let you know, like, this is who we're actually thinking of making president. And this is the actual consequences of being a felon.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got shape video masks. You can use different shapes.
That's for sure.
One question worth asking now is that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. So can he come to Canada? At least one immigration lawyer, says no. Trump is now technically barred from crossing into Canada as a civilian until at least 5 years after serving his sentence. However, exemptions could be made if Trump is elected U.S. president. He could also apply for a visa and make the case for entry. The federal government also has the discretion to allow people in for diplomatic reasons. And joining me now...
I just wanted to let you hear that, people. Don't get discouraged and think that nothing happens or nothing ever matters. It does matter. The former president is barred from coming to Canada because he's a 34-time felon, and that matters. That's the truth. Oh, man. And maybe they'll let him in on
some
diplomatic.
Other countries like France and Italy. I forget which ones he can't go to.
There's countries he can't do. There's also
he needs a permission slip.
In some states he can't vote, and that was another one that was big. So, you can't vote, but you can be president. It's absolutely ridiculous. People, I hope that we've gotten the facts. The facts. Guilty of 34 charges. What the charges were.
There's a lot of circumstances about whether he can vote or not, depending on where he is in his sentencing and which state he's in. But he'd have to ask Rhonda's permission to vote in Florida, I think.
Wow.
Which he'll get, but the fact that he has to ask, it's great.
Well, what's funny about that is, go ahead.
Angela did have a question about whether. We've been hearing that he's getting or will be getting intelligence briefings again if he gets the nomination, when he gets it. And will that still be, will he still be getting them now that he's a convicted felon, was what we're wondering about.
So guess what?
Welcome, Greg, Anthony, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Here's what I know from just being in the military and in the Code of Justice, the military code of justice. This may change if you're a president. What I do know is that he wouldn't have been able to pass the background or security check or security clearance either way. Before now, he couldn't have passed a background or a stability test, he wouldn't have been able to pass the truthfulness test. He wouldn't have been able to pass any of the tests that I know of to be able to even reach half of the levels of security that he got when he became president. Knowing that tells me that, yes, he will also be, those obviously don't succumb to the rules of testing and security. Being the president, being a nominee, and all these things don't follow the rules of what you would normally have to do to have security clearances. So, more than likely, yes. More than likely, yes. Not to mention, he was already getting them when he was under indictment for giving away nuclear secrets. More than likely, yes. The Department of Justice does have some leeway. The Uniform Code of Military Justice and Command, they do have some leeway in what they allow and don't allow. But yes is the answer, unless they do something drastic or strange. Seeing as how there is no precedent for this is the only hope we have. There has never, ever been a convicted felon to be an ex-president, period. No president has ever even been indicted, much less convicted of criminal counts. So because of the fact that there's no precedent, means that somebody in the DOJ or the president himself can take it to court and decide precedent. Say, hey, we know that he's supposed to get it, but he's not. He's now a convicted felon, and we don't think the Constitution meant that. And so now, and the only way that he wouldn't get it is if somebody takes it to court, and they decide that, and they make the precedent. Does that make sense?
So would that be Congress, or would that be...
Congress can take him to court. We can take him to court. A lawyer can take him to court. Somebody with him on the ballot, so a state representative can take him to court. Joe Biden. People, I think the only people who can't take him to court is the actual military, maybe. So I think they're the only people who can't take him to court. The people who own the top secret, who give away the top secret credentials, or the people who give those clearances. So DOJ can take him to court. Anybody can take him to court if they can get a good enough case and say, hey, we don't think he should get these because of this. There's no precedent, so we have to decide it now.
So Melanie just joined us and says felons can't have top secret clearance. So how can he be president without top secret clearance?
Right. You also can't have top secret clearance if you're under indictment, but he had that as well. The difference is, what I'm saying here is, Donald Trump, before becoming president, has done at least 15 different things that would bar him from having top secret clearance. He would never pass the test for top secret clearance. His lying, his court cases, his everything that he's ever done in life, his father, these things he wouldn't get past stage 1 of the testing of top secret clearance. That's why I say, once you become president, obviously those things that are the rules for getting top secret clearance go out the window. And being president overrides those things. That's why I say it doesn't matter. Because if it mattered, he wouldn't even have been allowed to run for president. And we can't do that. Does that make sense? So what we know is he would not have been able to get top secret clearance if he wasn't president, which means being president overrides everything else that is a prerequisite for getting top secret clearance.
And therefore he could give Jared and Ivanka and everyone else that
he can make them
access.
Apart. The thing is, he still believes he can give out top secret clearances, and I don't think he can. He has to recommend. He's not the person who can give them out. He can recommend that someone gets it. He can ask that someone gets it. There are certain positions that are required to have it, but he can't give out the top secret clearance.
I see.
Right. So I love those questions. Any more questions that I can answer, I will. And if not, we can look it up for you.
Right.
So,
she says, does it make sense? None of this makes sense here.
None of this makes sense.
Melanie.
This is the deal about precedent. None of this makes sense because it's like asking the question, why didn't the founders write a law that says alligators can't become congressmen? Because no one ever thought on God's green earth that someone would elect an alligator, right? It's not something that they thought could happen. It's no one who wrote the Constitution said, you know what? Maybe we should put in there that you can't. Someone can't run for president while in prison. And everybody, if the person who said that, other people looking at them would go, "What are you trying to pull here, bro? Why are you asking that? What are you trying to pull in here? Do you know something I don't know? What kind of dumb, stupid, ridiculous law would that be? Not knowing that 200 years later, at least 30% of the country would be that ridiculous." And that's what all precedent is. You didn't know that someone could do it. We didn't, abortion wasn't precedent until it came up with Roe versus Wade or whatever it is. Everything is precedent. So this is the first time this has happened. So now Someone has to make a law, someone has to sue, someone has to bring it to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court we have is full of sycophants and white nationalists.
And that's another thing we have to thank Trump for, is the legal round and round and round. We go, wait and delay and try every possible means. Just insane.
Oh man, that's tough. We're gonna get there. But remember, anytime anybody tells you that voting for Joe Biden is not good because of Rafa, because of everything that is definitely true and commendable, and you don't have a response for them, but you just know that it's wrong, what you do is you say, the next president will probably choose the very last Supreme Court we have. Many of them are old. Some of them were already like 6-4 or 6-3. The next president, if it's Trump, will not only choose the next Supreme Court justices, he will choose the last Supreme Court justices. And if you think Roe v. Wade is important, think about segregation. He's the same person who appointed Betsy DeVos, who wants to segregate the schools from the poor and the rich. Okay? He's the same one who wants to put Mexicans in concentration camps before he deports them. And one thing we learned in history is, once you reach a concentration camp, no matter what you thought you were going to do afterwards, they usually stay there because you have to find more people to fill those concentration camps. So understand that if Trump is next, he won't be choosing the next Supreme Court justices. He very well could be choosing the last. And if you think Roe v. Wade is bad, think of every single law that the Supreme Court has had to weigh in on. Brown versus Board of Education, goodbye. No problem. No problem. Okay? Voting Rights Act, already half gone, most of it. Goodbye, no problem. So just remember these things. When somebody asks you that and you don't really know how to answer, that's one answer you can give. So I want to get to the next part. Laura, if you guys keep asking questions, but before we do that, Laura, you got this under control over there. So let me just go ahead and do the next part.
Go for it.
What happens next? Will he go to jail? What, if anything, does it mean for his campaign? And I'm here to tell you guys, we know for a fact that when the judge was giving him his fines for violating the gag order, he said, which is also unprecedented, he said from the stand, Mr. Trump, I don't want to put you in jail because you could very well next be the nominee for president. Just saying that from the bench is so unprecedented. A judge saying that he doesn't want to give you a consequence deserving of your crime because of who you are is so unprecedented that I don't think anybody caught it when he said it. That blew my mind to hear. And I think he was really just being honest, but he wasn't even thinking about the far-reaching effects of a judge saying that. So if you're asking me, will he actually go to jail? I'm going to tell you, absolutely not. Because any judge who says that will find every excuse he can to wipe his hands clean from that becoming a precedent he put in place. The absolute fear a judge has to forget his bearings while on the bench to say something like that, let me know how important it was to him. Because no other judge, or not even him in any other place, would have said that. Does that make sense? To you guys, right? Okay. So, That's number one. I don't believe he'll go to jail. Some people do believe he'll go to jail. Some people think that because of the threats he's been making to and allowing to be made in his name by MAGA sycophants, the judge may just want to put him in jail. Especially, what you got there? What's so funny? What's going on in the chat section?
You're saying, I'd rather be wrong than right. Says, he likes Biden, but in his opinion, he's too old to get elected, and we're just having a bit of back and forth about whether or not he's too old. And Melanie says, I said, he's our only choice. There is no one else. And Melanie said, we have 3,000 different deodorant options, but these are our only two choices for president.
And that's the facts. That's just the fact. That's facts. That is a fact. That is a fact simply because the Democratic Party is fairly corrupt, and they stopped other people from joining in, but it's too far gone. And I think that would have been more of a case for 2020. In 2024, if you have a president who didn't step down, to run anybody else is to say, please don't vote for us. Right? If the president didn't step down, what you're saying is, we don't think our president did a good job, so we're going to go ahead and run someone else. Everybody else who thinks that they could have ran someone else and still been lucky, don't believe those lying polls. Those polls aren't real. When the polls said we will vote for anyone, there's a faceless Democrat here over Biden, that's someone being angry and talking out their a-hole. The actual truth is, if they run someone else and they beat Biden, the rest of the entire America who only watches news and only engages with politics for 4 minutes a week, that's the norm. 4 minutes a week. That's the norm, I have to repeat, because we're here thinking that everybody knows what we know. The rest of America, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, Newsmax, and all of them combined have a viewership of 9 million people. America has 300 million people in it. Understand that the rest of America engages with politics for 4 minutes a week maximum. And every single one of them would say, those Democrats, there's no way I'm voting for them. They didn't even like their own president. That's what would happen. And every person on a soapbox today in the Democratic Party that said, we got them, they're really going to vote for Newsom, will only be talking to the exact 5 people on their YouTube channel. And no one else. So we have no choice, even though I wish we did. Of course I wish we did, but we have no choice. We also can't not vote, and I'm going to get to that in about 15 minutes. Now, here's another part about what's going to happen to Donald Trump's campaign. I have a video for that. Are you guys ready? Here it goes. You ready? Here it goes.
First reaction was sadness for America, sadness for Trump. But at the end of the day, it's only going to increase his support like every other time they indicted him.
Same thing. It's very scary. Very scary. We're in a third world country right now. I don't even feel like we live in the United States. It can happen to him. It can happen to any of us.
Disappointed. It was like the whole world came to an end. But we have confidence in our higher courts. When it gets into the Supreme Court, he's going to be released from all things. This was a fake trial, just like the fake news, just like the fake election a few years back.
We're angry.
disappointed, but we're also happy in a way. Because you know what? My president's got street credit now. Now he's really got street credit. He's been convicted of 34 counts. And you know what? There's a lot of people out there in the streets that were convicted too. So now you can relate to President Trump.
I'll let you marinate on that. If the question is, what does it do for his campaign? One thing I can tell you is, I'll let you marinate on that. Every single person in January, every single poll in January that said, not 56, 60 something, 30, whatever the number was, percentage of people who said they would not vote for Trump if he was convicted of a felony. NPR's poll, when it actually came down to it, that we got back yesterday, just so happened to be in time, that number fell to 2%. When you put it all together, how many people it would change. Some of them said it will help them want to vote for him. Some of them said, maybe I won't vote for him. Most of them said it won't matter. Because the reason why they all said, of course I don't want to vote for someone who's convicted, was because they didn't want to be seen as the sycophants. They didn't want to hear themselves say those disgusting, nasty words out loud or even put it in writing. But as it got closer, just like Ron DeSantis, when he was asked with the rest of the candidates on the stage in Florida, if President Trump was in prison and convicted, would you vote for him? And everyone raised their hands, and he went like this and looked around, and then went like that. That's what every other Republican will do, despite what they said in the polls. All of them will go just like this. Are they going to still vote for him? Well, yeah, sure. They did it when they found out he had nuclear secrets given away to someone in Australia for money. They went like this. I wonder, I don't like that, but everyone else does. I guess I'm a Republican. This is a human thing. It happens to all of us. But it's really large when you're a conservative. The conservative mind has that group bias. Now, I'm not saying that it's wrong or right, but in this case, in this instance, you know what the alligator hands will do. You know what the T-Rex arms will do as soon as they realize everyone else is okay with it. They will make another excuse and say, I love it. He now has street cred. Yeah, homie, dog, my dog, my G, huh? The same people that they fought day and night, the rappers that they hated because of their thugs, they will now support, like the two murderers that Trump brought on stage with him to Brooklyn.
Bingo.
The two murderers that he brought on stage with him in Brooklyn, while white people said, yeah, dog, yeah, my G, gangster. They would have stood on his neck like Derek Chauvin 2 minutes ago. But if Trump does it, if my group does it, it's okay. No, it will not affect his campaign. Go ahead.
DC Liz says mind control is the new age slavery.
Facts.
And memes, and repetition, memes, repetition.
And thank you for that. The memes and repetition. You want to know how sick it is? Joe Biden sends some people down to the courthouse one time before the conviction, and the media goes, is this really? Oh my God, is he politicizing it? While the people who were doing it every day, dressed up in the same clown suit, saying the same thing over and over and over again, were just seen as normal, because the more you do it, the less people see it. It just becomes a part of the background, a part of the reality. So when you wonder when you're asking who still is voting for this guy, realize that the people who grew up in the past 8 years to become voters, the people who were maybe 15, 14, 13 and now can vote, have never seen anything other than this, and they don't know why people aren't crying for Biden and wearing American flag shirts with Biden's face on it. They don't see why people aren't on their knees every day genuflecting for Biden, because they think that shit is normal. It's just done every day. And if you tried it, it would look weird. Memes.
Yeah, well, a lot of those first-time voters actually aren't aware of or have forgotten all about the horrible things that went on in the Trump administration, let alone what's going on now. So, yeah, it's become normalized, and it's just the way it is, man. Everybody's the same. They're all liars. Well,
yeah. So that's that.
Yeah. So where are we at?
We're at number 3. The big thing is, now at number 3, coming off of what we just said, the people that we just saw, this is what's next. Number 3. You want to say it? Or you want me to do it? I can do it.
You want to play that CNN video, or was it Morning Joe?
Yep.
Yeah, Morning Joe. With Tim Scott.
Let me preface this so you guys know what we're looking at here. The reaction of the MAGA crowd now. This is why you clicked on the video. This is what we're talking about. Be wary. Understand that now all bets are off. Okay? The Republican reaction for retribution and revenge is the beginning of the end for any pretense this country had left of keeping a democracy intact, whether Trump wins or not. The minute lawmakers can come out and say, all judges suck, all law stinks, it's all corrupt, the minute that's able to be said, it won't matter if Trump is president or not. We'll be fighting this for the rest of our lives in one way or another. There will always be a faction that succumbs to that. It's too enticing, because there are criminals who are also can't wait to be lawmakers who will now use this precedent. That part is over. I'm trying to give you the actual warning. I'm not giving you hyperbole. Once you hear this, that part is over. Check it out.
Is someone trying to steal your Butterfinger? Call the BFI.
And no, I'm not talking about the Butterfinger.
No one lays a finger on your Butterfinger.
This is a justice system that hunts Republicans while protecting Democrats. This was certainly a hoax, a sham. This was devastating for the average American watching.
It is shameful to see this.
Stop. We gotta stop there. Understand what you just heard. A Republican lawmaker just said, this is a justice system, and said it without being locked up, without being watched by DOJ, without immediately getting beat down, shut down, talked down to. Said out of his mouth, this is a justice system that hunts Republicans and protects Democrats. while somebody who has his wife buried on the side lot of his golf course is still not in prison. What he just did was open the door for whoever is president next. Republicans can now never, ever accept anything other than the destruction of a Democrat, because anything other than that can be used as hunting them. Everything they do is now self-defense. Those words are picked it went almost over your head because it sounds so much like every meme to harken back. They say these things so much, but the words he chose were different. The justice system hunts us. So everything you do from now on that is illegal is in fact self-defense. That's dangerous.
This is a justice system that hunts Republicans while protecting Democrats. This was certainly a hoax, a sham. This was devastating for the average American watching.
It is shameful to see this, and I hope Americans are paying attention because America, they think you are stupid.
What we saw today was an absolute travesty of justice. This was not law. This was not criminal justice. This was politics. This was a political smear job. This was an attack job. This is what you see in banana republics. And it is, I am both furious and heartbroken at the same time.
This is the quintessential show trial. This is what you see in communist countries. This is what I grew up having people in this community tell me about. It happened in the days after the Castro Revolution. Obviously, those led to executions. This, on the other hand, is an effort to interfere in an election.
I'm wondering, most people didn't hear that the second half. Trump convicted of 34 counts of felony charges by a jury of his peers. I put out a little something yesterday that said, tomorrow what you're going to hear is how the DOJ did it, how Marxists did it, how Biden did it, how the left is doing it, how Hugo Chavez is doing it, how Cuba's doing it. None of them convicted Trump. 12 people who live in New York, next to the place where he grew up, saw the evidence and convicted him. That's it. That's it. Go ahead, Laura.
Guilty. Queens man found guilty. That was his hometown newspaper headline.
It said what?
Queens man found guilty.
I love it. I love it. I saw you snickering over there. What are they saying in the comment section?
It was Melanie again. Oh, look, it's Trump's blackest ass kisser on Morning Joe.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely.
Hey, golf.
Definitely. That was so unbelievably crazy. So there was something else too, man. There was someone else who, and I don't even have it, so I'm not going to put it. If you guys want to look up the warning, be careful when you listen to Steve Schmidt, because he is not on your side. He just happens to be against Trump. So be careful when you listen to him. But he does have something about there's other people who are writing a lot more dangerous and sickening things. And Trump did not ever say, you'll never hear him say, don't be violent like that. You never hear him say, I don't want that type of stuff. What he will do is screenshot it and put it out on social media. And that leads us to, do you have anything else to say about it? I don't have anything else to say about it. I think the first thing I said was important. What you guys need to know is that retribution is what they're calling for. There are, I should have had more clips in here, but I just don't have them because we got a few more things to go through. We're not going to be long, guys, I promise. But I promise you that when you clicked on that thing, when you clicked on the thumbnail, retribution is what they wanted, and we're leading to it now. Okay? Understand that when they said Republicans are being hunted, this is said in the context of right now, right now, I wish I remembered his name. People who were once in charge of the State Department, once in charge of military factions, are now at the top of Washington and California training people with M16s, training militias. If you can remember those names for me, that would be awesome. I don't even know, I can't remember.
Flynn?
Yes, Michael Flynn.
Ex-general.
Is
he still a general? Is he still technically a general? What is he?
No, he's ex-general. Well, I mean, there's no such term as ex-general. He was a general.
But he's retired, right?
Right.
But he's still allowed to call him. He's not been stripped of his.
No, retired general.
Should be.
I'm not sure you even can go backwards and strip someone past tense.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, only if you
I'm not sure.
You have to reactivate them and then.
Yeah. I mean, you can be dishonorably discharged. I'm not sure what you can. Maybe they can take your medals back or something like that. I don't know. But what we're telling you here is, not only is this happening, people, almost even more importantly, the media is failing. Yeah, they're showing you this and they think it's bad. But one thing they're still doing is acting like they're acting like they're dealing with a politician as opposed to a 34-time criminal, someone who's already been said by a judge proven to be civilly liable for rape. They're talking about him like he's just doing discussions. This is the headline. This is your media. Trump press conference. Live stream. Watch as former president discusses conviction. Discusses conviction? Number one, we're going to show you some of that right now in the way it should have been showed. The way it should be showed is not live. Because if you're going to show it live, I have something I have written here that I want to make sure I say it just right. He's not discussing convictions. What he's doing, what they're doing by showing this live and acting like they don't know what he's going to say, what he's always done.
That word discusses.
Discusses. He's just discussing over a cup of coffee.
Oh.
This is how they're treating it, because I don't know what they're so used to, just being bird brains. I don't understand it. Okay, so I have it written here. Give me 1 second. Yes. So, this is what the media has done, and I'm going to show you how you should report something like this. Never do it live. This is going to be Trump's speech now. We're getting to the part about the revenge, about the indecency, about the violence coming. Are you ready? I'm not sugarcoating it, and I'm going to tell you why. Instead of recording the speech so that you could rebut things and talk about it as he says it, because he will not rebut the people calling for violence on your Facebook page right now, on your Twitter right now, on your YouTube right now. They let him tell all the lies he wanted to incite as much violence as possible in his folksy and most understandable way, so that the people who need to understand it, who may not have understood it, can get it just at the right time. So they let him talk live to slander the judge and his family, and the entire legal and judicial system just in time for the fomenting of a revolutionary, raw meat-eating MAGA delusioned by a few more guns. Delusion to buy a few more guns. Now, that's when they show it live, with no rebuttal, with no one saying that's a lie as he's talking. That's why you tape it first and show it after. No, it's more meaty. It's more views I'll get if I show it live. They let him talk and lie and foment people who are hurting, who were already intellectually underwhelming at best, so that they can hear what the dear leader has to say, go buy a few more guns and make a few more plans of death on 4chan or the hidden corners online. That's what our media did today. Let me show you what they should have done today, YouTube. Everything I just said was important for you to understand as truth. That's truth. When you show what he says live, these things you're about to hear without rebutting them, you are giving
by now you've
credence and red meat, understanding to those who don't understand.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone.
That's not true unless you too paid off a porn star while cheating on your wife, whose baby and her was at home, and let the porn star spank you in the ass with a Time magazine with your face on it. If that's not you, you don't have to. If they can't do this to you, if you didn't run for a campaign and cover up and use money from the campaign to cover up that story, they can't do this to you. If you didn't run a business that was seeping with false records to cover up other false records and paying lawyers to lie constantly for those false records, this cannot happen to you. What he just said was a lie.
Bad people. These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people.
They're not sick.
When you look at our country, what's happening where millions and millions of people are flowing in from all parts of the world, not just South America, from Africa, from Asia, from the Middle East, and they're coming in from jails and prisons.
That's a lie. Nobody's coming in from jails and prisons. Everybody who comes here is vetted. Those who come here who seek asylum have to prove it. And there are a few who get through the cracks, who end up being taxi drivers and sending money home back to their family. And no one sent them here. They got here looking for the opportunity. So at the same time that Trump is denigrating the country, he's also letting you know we're still getting millions of people who think it's good enough to come here without a visa so they can have a better life. But a MAGA sycophant can't think in nuance. They just go, yes, sir.
And they're coming
and
in
didn't he just hire thousands or hundreds to work at Mar-a-Lago again?
Yep, all of them illegal.
And insane asylums. They're coming in from all over the world into our country. And we have a president and a group of fascists that don't want to do anything about it. Because they could right now, today, he could stop it. But
why didn't you stop it? Here we go. This is why you record it first, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. This is why you record it first, because every single one of these little lies is a bullet cocked in a gun that's fomenting, waiting in the corner to fire on you. If you show this without stopping it and correcting it, every person that sounds insane to you right now, YouTube, that's in my comment section right now, heard all of that and went to the gun shop where they sell M16s And they went on 4chan, where there's other people frothing, mad, because their God King was just convicted. Our media failed us by showing this live and fomenting that anger of the mob waiting to destroy anybody in their path because of their disillusionment from what just happened, instead of trying to heal what just happened with truth and honesty. They let the liar, their leader, give a speech live to his red meat eaters.
It's not. They're destroying our country. Our country's in very bad shape, and they're very much against me saying these things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times. They want to stop you from having cars with their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible for you to get a car or afford a car. It would make it very possible for China to build all of our cars. It's a very serious problem that we have. We just went through one of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted. There's never been a more conflicted judge. Now, I'm under a gag order, which nobody's ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before. I'm under a gag order, nasty gag order, where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines and was threatened with jail. Think of it. I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm leading the Republicans to the point where that's over. So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order.
So we have to ask a question. It's important that we know before we get to whatever Laura's laughing about. This is why I taped it, and this is why we do it like this. This is called reporting, CNN. Learn something today. What you just heard this animal say, or at least he has an animal hair on his head, what he just said was, no president ever has been under a gag order. What he failed to say is, no president ever has been indicted of crimes, and no president ever has ever been convicted of felonies. That's why no president ever has never been under gag order, because no president ever has ever not conceded when they lost, even when they shouldn't have. Al Gore, for the sake of the country, Al Gore conceded, even though it was told many times and proven many times that he won in Florida. But the Supreme Court went ahead and elected someone else. Did I like it? No. Did we march? Yes. Did he concede? Yes. Thank goodness. Did you hear me say that? If you're MAGA and you think, well, you should fight. I'm telling you, I wanted him to win. I know he won, and I know it was stolen. Thank God he conceded. Because I, unlike you, have an IQ above my shoe size, and I understand the greater purpose. Conceding doesn't mean you don't fight. Conceding means you do exactly what's necessary and your duty to do to keep America running. There is no more such thing as a nonviolent election in America. Warning number 2. You think I'm lying. You think I'm giving you hyperbole. I was born in Jamaica, and I understand why the rest of the world looks at us with amazement that we never have violence during elections, because we never had anybody not concede. It only takes the first time, because now, anytime anybody loses, they will never concede. The people who voted for them will never concede, even if the politician does. There will always be 3 to 4 to 10 to 13 to 23 to 33% of the population that will say, I think it was stolen. And I'm going to do something about it. Always. Forever. It's over. You don't believe me. I know. You've never seen it. You think it can't. That part is over. We're not fighting for that anymore. The best we can hope for, America, YouTube, is that every election we find a way to put down the riots or the violence in the least bloody way. That's it. I guarantee you. And when it happens, I'll come on here again, not to say I told you so, but to remind you not to be surprised in the next 4 years. It's over. Okay, what were you laughing about? Sorry.
Well, yeah. To be fair, MSNBC and CNN did cut away.
Okay, good.
Or responded, but J. Adolf Twitler said, my suggestion is not trusting the guy who slept through his trial to tell you an accurate account of the events at the trial.
Exactly. Great one. Thank you. Oh, hey, by the way, man, you guys are awesome. Did you know that we're now at 2,000 subscribers? Did you know that we're in the process right now of being monetized? Thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you, man. Yeah. You guys are the best.
Wasn't it last time we did this and we were going, woohoo, we got 600, and then I went to bed, and the next day.
So what happened was,
and now we're at 2. Amazing. Thank you, everyone.
Listen, what happened was Bleach Bond, Bad Built, Butch Body came out. And
thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you, MTG. Thank you, the professional Neanderthal lookalike, for doing this for us. Because we just played a song one time, and then next thing you know, I did a little something about it, what she talked about AOC. Next thing you know, everybody else tuned in, they saw that, and they liked it. You guys did this, man. So thank you. Leave a comment down there, like, subscribe. You're the best, man.
Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body also applies to Trump.
Oh, no, Laura, that's too good. Laura, that's too good. I need the music for that. No, we're not just going to let that go. Oh.
Let's make t-shirts. Bleach blonde, bad built, butch body with a Trump hairdo.
Well, I wish we could, but guess what? We can't do it because she is so smart. She copyrighted it already. Oh no, where's the song for that? I need that song. Oh, come on. Anyway, man, there's a song especially for that joke. We got to play something for that joke. I'm not going to let that just go. Oh my God. That also applies to Trump. Anyway, forget it.
Tennessee Brando has another one out. He won't fuck you, Mark. But then again, maybe he will.
Oh God.
Look that one up. Okay, we might lose our monetization if we play it.
Oh my God. Hold on, where's that beat set? It's too. Let's get happy, guys. We're ending this soon. I've got a few more things for you. Thank you. This is our thank you song. We got merch coming. Guaranteed. All because of you. I'm humbled. I'm happy. And I hope that we're informative and funny. I hope that we provide something that others don't. I hope that we provide a truth that's both necessary and uncommon. I hope we provide a truth that's both necessary and uncommon. There's a lot of people telling the truth out there. Luke Beasley, right? Pac-Man, even some people on the TYT network. Listen, my perspective as a Jamaican, as a black man, my perspective as someone who's been in theology and politics is different. Laura has been helping people, has been giving of her life and time for years. We have a perspective that's different. And you guys did this. I'm not done. I just had to take that break. So right now, I think I said all I need to say about that. I'm going to end it with this. We'll get to 7 and 8. I'll let you get to 7 and 8, Laura. I'll forget. This Monday was Memorial Day, and as a veteran, I take it seriously. There are fools out there who wrote Ashley Babbitt's name on a frickin' stone and took it to Arlington National Cemetery, where the bravest of us who died in war are buried. And they trampled on that sacred ground of mine. I was in the Army. I went to drill sergeant school to learn how to train soldiers. It was grueling. It's tough. Wear the hat with pride and sent people over there to die before they came back. Ashley Babbitt died because she was climbing through a window, trying to desecrate and dishonor our national capital and to stop a free and fair election. To even walk your nasty shoes over there to that sacred ground with that stupid monument is an affront to this country, is an affront to humans everywhere. But we're already so late, I'm not going to talk about it. That's all I wanted to say. Because I care. I care about the families of those who've lost soldiers. We have an all-volunteer army. Many of them do it because they're broke and they come from disparate places. But all of them do it with a sense of bravery because there's other things you could have done. I am not one of those too far left progressives who thinks that the army is a bad thing. I hate that we send people to war for bad reasons. I do have a sense of duty. I didn't do it for the college money. As a matter of fact, I never got mine. And I was owed it for years. I should hate the military for all the things that it did to me. But I loved it because I didn't do it for that. The reality is, I'm not going to talk about it. We'll get on that some other time.
Actually, that's an important point. You were, as you say, you were born in Jamaica, and a lot of immigrants actually do join the service. And it's not, like you said, just for the education or the pay. It's because they feel it's worth it.
You feel a sense of duty. You feel a sense of honor. You're right. So yes, okay. That is why I did it. You want to know the funniest part? The actual truth, YouTube? I watched Glory with Denzel Washington about the very first black regiment in the Civil War fighting for the Union. I cried. I went home. And I'd already been thinking about this because I had just become a citizen. At that time, I turned 18. And after just becoming a citizen and watching Glory, I told my parents, I'm joining the Army. My best friend had already joined the Marine Corps, and I was already a little bit convicted. But when I realized that there were others who died so that I could be here, who died so that we don't have to have violent elections, that's why I joined. That's why it bothers me so much. That's why my anger overflows. That's why I yell and scream. I hope you understand it's not out of hate, it's out of love. I gave and would give my life again and again to have one more day of no violent elections. And I'm here to tell you that part is gone. We haven't lost it all. So if you think I'm saying it to be hyperbolic, it hurts me to say that. I'm only telling you the truth because I've studied it. I've seen it firsthand. I'm going to end it with this. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. Thank you for bringing us to 2,000. After I end it, Laura has news for you that you need to hear. Some very important, pertinent news you need to hear. And this is how I'm going to end it. Darla Mar. I love Darla Mar. She is completely opposite from me on the political spectrum. If you're a Republican, you're welcome here. If you can take a joke, you're welcome here. Understand what we're talking about is cult members and those who would destroy us so that they can feel better about themselves or about their hatred or excuse their disgusting habits. Those are different. Darla Mar says to me in a comment, I talked about what was going on and blah, blah, blah. She says, the Trump comment about grabbing P words was about 20 years ago. Prior to that, we had a president who also loved the ladies, most likely grabbing Monica south of the border, and also soiling her pretty blue dress while in the White House. But evidently that was okay. When Bill was messing around with women, the women were trashed. However, in Trump's case, he is trashed. In my opinion, says Darla, both men and the women involved are all trash. Now, and there's the second part. I don't think I got all of that. Let me see. Okay, her next part. Now, I want to finish what she said. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Okay, yeah. Now, here's the big part, guys. Here's the point. Now, when you use the term cult, do you mean all Republicans? And I will end it here, and the rest is up to Laura. People, understand why I said this. Whatever she was talking about, you don't have to worry about that. I mentioned something in a video, and this was her comment. The most important part is when I say cult, do I mean all Republicans? And I end it with this. No, I don't mean all Republicans. If you're a Republican and you're listening to this, understand. I mean the people who find ways to convince themselves that Donald Trump isn't the absolute sick, greedy, Nazi-sympathizing, self-serving sociopath who buried his wife in the corner of his golf course for a tax break and let the grass grow over the headstone that he is. That's who I mean. The people who find ways to convince themselves that Donald Trump, the same guy who said McCain wasn't a real war hero because he was a prisoner of war, the same guy who who cheated on every old wife with the new wife afterwards until he found a porn star to replace the trend. If I heard a guy say women let you grab them by the P word when you're famous, and they were over the age of 14, I would look at them like they were crazy and probably find an excuse to leave the room. I actually know guys like that, and I'm uncomfortable around them. I hate having to even talk to them. They suck. They make me sick, but unfortunately, they're married to people who I love, so I can't get rid of them. Those who see all of this and still try to find ways to nitpick a single instance in order to poke holes, rather than see the whole disgusting, decaying corpse of morality that is Trump, might be in a cult. That's who I mean. Is that clear? Let me finish. Maybe they're just trying to avoid cognitive dissonance. Is that you? Think about that. In totality, are you trying to nitpick things to make it seem like it's not as bad as it is, while not looking at the whole picture, the entire bloated, dead, corrupted, decaying body of morality that is Trump? Is that you? Or are you like the party leadership that just don't care because it's the easiest, sleaziest way to stay in power? Either way, at this point, they're all dangerous because the man that they make excuses for has promised to have concentration camps to deport Muslims, Mexicans, and people who don't support Israel. So no. There are many Republican voters who see him for what he is, and they've all decided they can't responsibly vote for a thing like that. The cult finds every... Wait, okay, hold on. That's not even it. Wait. The cult finds every reason to excuse it and vote for him anyway. That's all I'm saying, my friend, and that was to Darla Mar. She's awesome. She's completely different from me, but that question was necessary, and I like her. Don't dunk on her if you see this.
Darla's in the chat.
Yeah. She's in the chat, and she and Laura got words. But I love her. She's my friend.
No. I don't have words with Darla. I have words with someone else who's keeps just talking about Kamala and Israel. It's getting repetitive and annoying.
I see.
And they're asking to donate. I'm not going to respond. I'll let you look at it later.
All right. So here we go, guys. Here we go. This is the last part that's important. Men have cheated. And women too. I want to put it over here so you can see my face. Okay. It won't allow me to. Fine. I'll do it like this then. People, here we go. Men have cheated and women too. Guys have done dumb things, even horrible things, when drunk or just in a crowd of other guys doing wrong and hate themselves the next day. I have. The powerful have always taken advantage of the less powerful. But the absolute whole package of Trump's type of moral deficiency addiction, without ever knowing the feeling of regret or guilt, is the kind of thing that very few sickos and world leaders and cancers can call their own. We're not talking about the guy who cheated. We're not talking about the one dalliance or the even one-time bad person who feels guilty. I'm telling you, the guy who deals in this type of moral decay daily, addicted to it, loves it, and eats it up, without ever knowing the pleasure of feeling guilt and having to ever feel any remorse for these things. Only very few sickles can call them their own. And those who don't see it by now are putting all of us in danger. For whatever the reason is, the result is the same. And I leave you with that. Remember that the next time somebody tries to tell you, but somebody did this, but he did that, and brings up Clinton or anybody else, remind them that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about the kind of person who will bury his wife in the corner of his golf course for a tax break and let the grass grow over the hedgestone. And if you pay him enough, he'd pee on it for you.
And he's trying to stop the release of a movie based on his life, which depicts the rape scene of his first wife.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I'm not even sure if I want to watch that, but...
Oh, no.
Anybody who's never ever felt guilty, be so scared. They're called sociopaths. They're called psychopaths. He will destroy us. Anyway, that's it. I'll leave you with that.
Whataboutism is just disgusting. Even with when he was found guilty, their immediate instinct was to go, "What about Hunter? What about Hunter? What about him?"
He's not even president, but nobody cares. Hunter's a drug addict who feels sorry and calls his dad crying. Has Trump ever felt guilty about anything? What about you? That's what you say. What about you? Have you ever sinned? Have you ever sinned? Have you felt bad afterwards? Have you done anything that your mother said don't do? How did you feel after that? Huh? Trump has never felt that way. That's the difference. That's the difference. He has never felt that way. Screws up a marriage, gets another one. Screws up a kid, gets another one. Screws up a family, gets another one. Screws up a porn star, I'll get another one. Screws up a country, there is no other ones.
Well, he screwed up Scotland and a couple other places.
I stand corrected. Yeah. All right. What else? What you got for us, Laura? Let's take them out. We're out of here. It's already 1 a.m.
Are we ready to move on to the good news?
The good news. I'm down for it.
All right. Just some reminders that, earlier on in the chat, people were talking about Biden and his age and what are you going to do? And this is like the only choice we got, man. And he's not that old. And we got to remind ourselves of what he has done and accomplished and what he will continue to accomplish. And the first bit of good news that got very little coverage in most places I saw was the first state visit for the president of Kenya, William Ruto, to mark the 60th anniversary of U.S.-Kenyan diplomatic relations.
Mm-hmm.
And Biden's going to designate Kenya as a major non-NATO ally, the first sub-Saharan African country to receive this designation. So this is going to help strengthen what China and Russia are trying to muscle in on. This is very important. I mean, I even said it a number of years back. I was saying within the next decade or two, we're going to be relying on Africa for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're starting to see this.
That's awesome. Great news. Great news. Hey, I didn't even know Darla was here. Love you, man. Love you, darling.
Yeah, so, and then he went to Philadelphia. He and Kamala went to, Girard College, the battleground state's biggest city of Philadelphia. Where's Philadelphia again? Pennsylvania.
Oh, come on. She's from Canadian, people. It's not your... Yes. Pittsburgh Pirates. Pittsburgh, I think, is what we're talking about. Philadelphia. Pittsburgh is... Wait a minute. Oh, now you got me messed up, man.
Philly.
Pittsburgh is in Philadelphia, isn't it? I don't know. I got him. So anyway, I apologize. Yes, guys.
So his federal
Philly's in
funding for
Pennsylvania.
HBCUs has surpassed $16 billion now.
Yes.
And he's appointed 201 diverse federal judges as well. So these are all, you got to keep reminding yourself, like, what would Trump do? Not that.
Well, I mean, Lord have mercy. The more judges he can appoint, the better. Because how many Eileen Cannons are there because of Trump?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and just a last bit about that Columbus, Ohio story we talked about last week, where they're not going to allow him on the ballot because of the deadline deal, which was ridiculous.
Yep.
Well, they've apparently got a fix to it, but they had to go along with the Republicans' demands for a ban on foreign nationals contributing to state ballot campaigns. Well, okay.
Wow.
So temporary fix allowing Biden to appear on the fall's ballot cleared the Ohio House during a rare special session.
Yeah, you do know why, right? Because the Democratic Party said, well, if you don't, we're just going to hold a online convention and make him the president before then. All of a sudden, it was okay. Embarrassing.
He's not too old. He's got a good crew helping him. We just don't notice all of it because he doesn't go out there and brag and meme about it endlessly, repetitively. Like the other side.
Here's the thing. How quickly we forget the State of the Union address. Now, and people, well, he was on drugs. Who cares?
And he was absolutely pitch perfect today with his response to the guilty verdicts, too.
Yeah, I don't think he needs drugs for that because he's running a daggone country. He has people around him. But more importantly, if you think that he's out there pointing fingers and standing up at attention with a cape on his back, that's not what presidents do. Yes, he's too old because we need someone younger in the office. Trump is also too old. None of that matters. Biden will concede when he leaves in 4 years. Trump will not. That's it. That's it. That's it. If you think of, if there's anything, he's too old, I can't believe, it's Rafah, it's Israel, every single thing that you have a reason for not to vote for Biden or just not to vote at all, understand every one of those reasons will amplify and be worse if you don't vote for Biden. That's it. That's it.
We've got a troll in the chat saying that Biden's a KKK member or stands by them.
That's the Kamala troll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him, man. He's also he is awesome because
hilarious.
As long as he stays there, he's adding hours to our average view time, and we are in the money because of Kamala. Thank you, Kamala. Please stay with. Matter of fact, every time we do a live, I would ask that you come and troll and help give us some more levity because I tend to get too serious. I love the levity that you bring, Kamala. Appreciate it. That's it, guys. No, that's not it. Oh, now I can't do that. You did it too soon. All right.
Sorry.
Despite the fart jokes, we have a serious matter. Michelle Obama's mother has passed, and I wanted to say rest in peace. We give our condolences there. There we go. So that's the last piece of news. Guys, you did it. You did it. Thank you so much. I hope that we gave you some truth that is both necessary and also needed, necessary, and uncommon. And with that, I say, thank ganja. It's Saturday. It's 1 a.m. But thank ganja, it's Friday.
It's West Coast for me, so I'm still gonna get high. Thank ganja, it's Friday, Bruce. Another week, and wow, we started with Memorial Day and ended with a day we'll never forget.
Yeah, I hope all of you know that we had an entire list of 9 to 10 other things we were going to record and have videos for and be out by Friday in the daytime. And then Trump. And so we just scratched it all and said, let's go live when I get home from work. Thank you guys for being here. You mean the world to us.
We'll probably do a couple of shorts, won't we?
Oh, yes. We'll do some shorts to make sure that we do get all of the other necessary things out there. And laugh at it or talk about it as necessary. There are a lot of things did happen this week. It wasn't just this. This just happened to be the most important and the thing that will most affect our daily talk and lives. So we have a lot more over the weekend. We have shorts coming, and of course Laura will have some extremely funny ones. Mine will only be a little bit like that. Mine will only be very, very, very small amount of funny. Hers will be extremely funny. Either way.
And look forward to your series on education and what's going on with that. Melanie Dane did a lot of research for us, and you're getting on that.
Half of it's already written. I was trying to do some more. I lost some people this week as well. So things they're on their way. People, education. The Republican stance and views on public education, the reasons why, the history. You want to watch that. It's coming. I got you. Anything else? Peace.